Good morning, everybody. Stu Smith here going live. We are talking all things combat swimmer stroke, CSS, combat side stroke, whatever you like to call it, modified side stroke. It's been called many things over the years, and we're going to break it down to a pull, a breathe, a kick, a glide, and show you some good videos. I have several videos here that is a good demonstration of people eliminating important elements of that stroke. The pull, breathe, kick, the glide. I would say most people either have a a poor pull or a kick, or they skip the glide. And I'm going to show you videos of that today. So let's just go right into it. Here's the way today works. It's Tuesday. I'm going to show you some CSS videos, critique them a little bit. Feel free to ask questions throughout the 40 minutes or so that I'm on this live Q&A. I'll get to them as I get to them. And if you don't want to go public with a question, just send me an email, stu@stusmith.com. If you want me to critique a swim stroke, send it to me by email, stu@stusmith.com, or a lot of people just DM me over at the Instagram. DM me on Instagram. So Ryan says new phone, so I see Stu in 5K. I don't know. Oh, you have a new phone. Got it. Yeah, I do not have a new phone. I have my old phone. I don't know what iPhone version that is, but it's fairly new. So, author, glad you made it. All right, so let's go. Let me pull up some videos, and first I got to find where I put them. So I'm going to show you first videos that came in this week, some that we did earlier this week, and demonstrations of exactly what I am talking about. So here we go. Let me share my screen, get this volume down so it's not so loud, and share my screen with window. Here we go. All right. So not so good on the kickoff. Watch this. You guys can see this. Make sure you guys can see this. All right. So let's see what's going on here. We got a kick off the wall. Boom. All right. So it looks okay until about here. Okay. Awkward double arm pull. Weird dolphin kick. Really wasn't doing a whole lot. And then he kicks and recovers. This looks like a good breaststroke kick out of it. Good recovery. And then I have no idea what just happened. You did a top arm, bottom arm pull, but you're still underwater. Now you come up. So that was awkward. So my advice is this. You're not very good at the breaststroke pullout. I don't think you need it. Kick off the wall, stay straight, come up for your first breath, turn to breathe. One, you get an extra breath per length of the pool, and you won't have to do that awkward transition out of it. So let's just watch it from here. Okay, once again, boom. Now here's the stroke. Pull, breathe, kick. Oh, wait, pull, breathe, kick. How many spent? What? One miss? I can't even count my Mississippis. Come on, man. Kick off the wall, double arm pull. That's okay. Decent transition out. Not bad. I'll give you that one. But there is no glide in this stroke. I mean, there's 5 strokes already. You should be already at the end of the pool with this much effort if you to just hold the glide for 3 seconds each stroke. Yeah, that's a great example of you're gonna burn yourself out. Every lap's gonna get slower because you're just overworking. You're basically wrestling the water. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Kick, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Okay. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Hold the glide at least to the wall. Come on, man. You're not even a body length away. You're going to get an extra stroke in there. Come on. That's just way too much work. You're making me tired watching you swim. Yeah, way too much work. So I'm going to move on. All right. Should have a couple of others here I want to show you guys. Let me pull up this one. I don't think I've shown this one yet. All right, so this is an example. This is an example of two things. One, very poor cameraman work, right? So if you can't see yourself swimming, I can't see yourself swimming. And everything else is going to be critiqued. All right, so let's kick off the wall. Okay, first of all, look at that. Look at that shoulder mobility there. Not so good. Oh, man, let me try to stop this. All right, he's fast. Got such a short. There we go. All right, that is not streamlined. That, instead of a torpedo, that looks more like a plow going through the water. At least your head's down. You got that going for you. But your bicep should be on your ears and these hands should be on top of each other. If you really want a good streamlined body position, that's what you need right there. Let's see. Let me continue this on. Kick off the wall, double arm pull, not bad. Transitions out. Let's see what we got here. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. What are we missing? This is another one. I'm trying to make a point here. You can't skip the glide in the CSS unless you want to do 15 strokes per length for 500 yards and be exhausted at the end of it. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Hold the glide. Like you're not even like pretending to glide. And your cameraman, that's the first time I saw your feet in this whole length. Like either turn the phone sideways or back it off a notch. Go 0.5 on this thing. This, all I'm seeing is you breathing and pulling, no gliding, and can't even see your kick. On the way back, I do notice that your kick isn't good either. So maybe that's why you're constantly pulling. You got to fix your kick. You got to fix a glide. And you don't even know if you have a good kick because you're not trying to glide it out afterwards. So that's probably the underlying culprit here is your kick is bad and you don't even know it because you're not even trying to test it out. I mean, you should be able to get 2 to 3 seconds of glide time with every kick. And if you had a tight recovery and glide position versus a plowing position, you might get something out of that kick. So anyway, all right. So those are bad. Let me show you something that I was impressed with this week. All right. This one is, all right. I should have this one here. All right. So you guys will. This guy's swim. He was so fast. Let me share my screen. Go to Instagram here. All right. So this was a fun one. All right. So here we go. Kick off the wall. Oh, it's a big one. So let me get him right here. There you go. Top arm. All right. Let me just show that again. I got to make this bigger somehow. All right. Here we go. All right. Look at this kick off the wall. Watch this streamline power kick off the wall. Boom. Me looks like a barracuda going through the water. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Top arm, bottom arm. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. See, there you go. You just hold the glide. How many strokes was that? Let's count this. 1 will count the double arm pull. 2 there, 3, 4, probably around 5. Yep, 5 with a little kick there. Look at this kickoff. Incredible. Almost tripped trying to keep up with him. So anyway, if you're wondering, if you think this looks slow, that right there was a 40-second 50. So he's on pace to do this in like 6 minutes, under 6 minutes. And he actually did a 6:09. In fact, because he's so fast, I was able to get a 75 yards out of this 1 minute video. So he goes 75 yards in 1 minute. That means 150 in 2 minutes. That means 300 in 4 minutes. He's super fast. So fast. So anyway, I posted this up on TikTok and Instagram if you want to take a look at it. It's about as smooth as you can get. And if you notice he's doing a breaststroke kick, I mean, it's no wonder he can do this so well. He's a competitive swimmer, been swimming since he's been 4 years old. He's freaking stud in the pool, for sure. All right. So that was a good one. Let's see here. Let me see if I can show another one. All right. So, all right. This was another guy doing his. This was another guy doing his 500-yard swim. We had a PST this week. The one guy, he cranked it out with a 6:09, and this guy did an first PST ever, did a 8:40, which is excellent. So top arm, bottom arm, kick. Look at that, holding the glide. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Could be a little longer. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Pull. Yeah, it could hold it just a little longer. But I think he was a little excited. This is probably like the second lap of a 500-yard swim. A little bit excited for doing it. The one thing you got to remember is when you do take one of these tests, adrenaline's going to be pumping. You get some butterflies. You got those pregame jitters going on. You got to learn to control it and swim your race. A lot of times people will crank out a really fast first lap, whether you're running or swimming, throws you off your pace. So just remember, hold that glide. When you're in that glide position, hold that glide for good 3 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Yeah, he's just fired up. All right. So if you're wondering where you can find information on the CSS, check out this link. I'm going to put it right here in the comment section there. And I'll start taking some questions here. I think I have another video to show you in a little bit. I'll get to it in a minute. All right, let's see what kind of questions we have over here on Instagram. Okay, Leo's trying to give me advice on how to run my computer. Thank you, Leo. Let's see. Hey, Stu, as a former SDV guy, is there a reconnaissance component to the team? There used to be. I'm pretty sure there still is now. We just call it the MAROPS side. You know, so you had a SDV platoon, you had a MAROPS platoon, which basically we would lock out Zodiacs and people to go do their thing on land in the middle of the ocean. A really cool mission. I enjoyed that mission, actually. Kind of cool being subsurface and you launching SDVs from underwater. I'm sorry, launching zodiacs from underwater. It's a process for sure. Or you could surface and launch your zodiacs as well for that way. But we we were a little bit stealthier and did it all subsurface. Let's see. No real questions. Okay, Arthur says, when you're getting to the end for the turn, what's the best breathing technique? I find myself having to hold my breath until after the push off the wall for no water in my nose. Well, here's the beauty of this. If you're taking this test, um, you need to get used to wearing a mask. So it's going to cover your nose anyway. So you'll never have that problem swimming with a mask on. Now, should you swim with goggles? Yes, because there may be a time when you have to do swims without a mask and get used to that as well. So, be honest with you, I don't know how to explain it. There is a method that comes with some practice. Usually, anytime my face is underwater, I am exhaling through my nose so I don't get water in my nose. Um, that's just the way it goes. That's the best way I can explain it. So sorry, unable to verbalize that. It's almost like trying to explain how do you swallow, right? So I don't have a good answer for how to do that. Yeah, you should do your turns fast. I usually take one, I usually grab that wall, one hand, I'm inhaling as I'm grabbing that wall and turn around, exhale during that kickoff, come up for my first breath. Yep, Joey says, yeah, brother, you have to tough it out. My sinuses are still jacked up from 5-mile swims. You get used to it. But the beauty of any military spec ops job is you're going to be with a mask for most of your swims. Now, you may be without a mask a little bit as well, but you tend to get used to it. Being a mouth breather and you kind of block your nose. I don't have a good explanation for you. Leo has one question today. I did. How long is too long of breaks during sets? If you need a little longer to recover to do your next reps, is fine, or does that mean you should lower the reps? No, I mean I like the idea of pushing the reps to get higher volume. If you need to rest a little bit more, that's fine, but try to make most of that rest an active rest, meaning you're jogging, you're biking, you're doing something, abs, flutter kicks. If you're doing push ups and pull ups, rest those push pull muscles with some abs and jogging, right? I mean, it's just something. If you're trying to get as much done in as little bit of time as possible, one thing I hate doing is resting and doing nothing unless I'm going super heavy. Then you need a little rest. Just because you're not going to be able to lift super heavy the next few sets if you're doing. But for things that require muscle stamina, I've always worked the cardio with it because those two things go hand in hand at helping you build endurance and build muscle stamina together. And next thing you know, that you need very little rest in between sets, as long as you are arranging your exercises in a like push pull core circuit. You do your push-ups, your pull-ups, your abs or plank or whatever, and then you just come back around. Push pull core, push pull core. It could be push pull legs too. Depending if you're doing a full body day like a Murph. Murphs are great for testing this out because, you know, everything is an active rest. If you're not doing squats, you're doing pull-ups or push-ups. If you're not doing pull-ups or push-ups, you're doing squats. And, those are really good ways to um, focus on your muscle stamina and endurance with workouts like that. Pyramids are great for that as well. But if you're a beginner and you don't have a lot of endurance and muscle stamina, then yes, by all means, take a rest, sip some water, go for a little walk, but just don't sit still and do nothing. Any tips for any tips you use to have healthy meals, snacks when you travel either in a car or plane? Struggle with how to have high quality nutrition during my family vacation trips. I just pack stuff. I pack a ton of just good food versus, stopping off at, getting some snacks and, being eating candy bars or something. So, yeah, bring some nuts. Those are easy. I usually bring a couple of pieces of fruit, like apples or oranges, little tangerines or something, even bananas. Um, just put them at the top of my backpack and just grab them when I need them. Bring some something good to drink. I personally like unsweet tea is something I will drink, but water obviously is you can get water anywhere. Um, I've been lucky and have found good foods. Whether you're going through an airport or stopping off somewhere. A lot of places nowadays they have boiled eggs sitting there. So I'll grab a couple boiled eggs, and get some good protein out of that. Or you can bring your own. Bring a cooler. I get one of those little small igloos and fill it with all your nutritious snacks. All right, looks like I answered all those questions over there. Let's see. I run 2 miles before I swim. Session 2, by the way, for the stamina. Yeah, I think that's a great combination. In fact, we used to do run, swim, runs all the time. Run to the pool, swim, and run back home. Um, Great workout. What are tips to sleep better? I don't use a bed. I sleep on the floor. It's more comfy for me. Damn. Got like a mattress or something? Something a little cushiony down there. Um, Here's the deal. You need to create a ritual to go to sleep. So my advice is this. I have an alarm that goes off about 8:30 at night. And that is my reminder to myself that an hour from then, maybe an hour and a half sometimes, I'm turning out my light and going to sleep. So my ritual for going to bed starts about 8:30ish. Okay? So now, what does that mean? That means I grab a glass of milk, I get out of my workout clothes and put on my sleeping clothes. I take a shower some nights if I feel like I really need it, especially right now with uh, all this pollen around. If you really want to like get the pollen off of you before you go to sleep, I'd highly recommend taking a quick shower and putting on your sleep clothes and then going to bed. Maybe even change your sheets if you didn't do that the night before, because pollen on your pillow stuck in your hair, oh man, wrecks you. I wake up all glassy eyed and stuffed nose. Um, so that's helpful in the spring. But as you can see, it's just a ritual. So about 9 hours from when I want to wake up, I start that. That's when my alarm goes off. So whenever you have to wake up, back it out 9 hours. An hour of that is setting your ritual, just like you would. I don't know if many of you have kids or not, But when you do have kids, you want them to fall asleep just to get them to go to sleep. And you have this ritual: give them a bath, give them a little snack, you read to them a little bit, and then they fall asleep right there. And that is what you need to do as well as adults: is relax a little bit, turn off the lights, put your phone away. Don't even look at your phone anymore. Those blue lights are just going to keep you up afterwards. And then, or if you have blue light readers, I guess that would be okay. Glasses that reflect the blue light. Get your shower, change your clothes, lay down in bed, do some reading, write something down. Like usually I write my to-do list down for tomorrow. I'll either swing by my desk and write it on my handy dandy calendar, like all the stuff I got to do, because it kind of gets it out of my head. I'm not thinking about it and spinning about what I need to do tomorrow. Gets it out of my head. There's my to-do list. I get an idea for an article. I write it down because I will forget it when I wake up in the morning. But I'm also not thinking about it as well overnight, at least consciously, and it's not keeping me up. And then, go to bed. So yeah, there's a couple articles I've written. In fact, you can read importance of sleep rituals, Stu Smith. You'll see a bunch of these in here. Yeah, importance of sleep. There's 2 articles in this. This is part 2 of a sleep article. I'll put it over here for you. But there's some great ideas. Cool your bedroom. That's very helpful. I think there's even a podcast link in there too, where I think Jeff and I talk about, setting the tone for getting people to go to sleep and sleeping better. Is more yardage always better? Okay, so you're asking me 2 questions here. Hey Stu, how many yards per week would you say is perfect for the pool? How much is too much? Okay, good question. If you're training for SEAL officer or Air Force Crow Stow, what would you advise? All right, so 2 different things. All right, your fitness test to go Crow Stow is a 1,500-meter swim. So you're probably going to need to swim a little more than the actual SEAL for the fitness test, which is just 500 yards for the SEAL officer or enlisted guy. So your conditioning without fins is going to be probably double what I would say is needed. So I would say somewhere between maybe 2,500, 3,000 on your upper body days. So here's how I break it down. I break down swimming conditioning on upper body days. So without fins, I'm doing freestyle, CSS, 50/50s, 100/100s, whatever you want to do. And usually for the SEAL candidates, we're getting anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000. For the Air Force guys, they usually do something. If they're enlisted, they do about the same, 1,500, 2,000. If they're officers, I usually have them go like 2,500 to 3,000 just because they have a 1,500-meter swim test. So if you're going Crow Stow, more yardage is better, yes. Now, on leg days, we swim with fins. Buds guys, they're preparing for 2-mile swims with fins. Usually we don't swim that much on leg days. We'll swim about 2,000, 2,500, maybe 3,000 yards on leg days twice a week. That'll get them somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000. The upper body days 3 times usually gets them another 5. So I'd say somewhere between 10 and 12,000 yards of swimming is a good amount of swimming if you suck at swimming. If you're a professional swimmer, competitive swimmer, you can cut that in half and focus on things you need to focus on, that are going to matter to you, like running and building up some durability under loads, lifting weights, things like that. So there you go. How's that one? Good answer? All right, Mr. Fusion, what do you say? How do you format running programs? Some programs I've seen like 2 days of running followed by 1 day off, 2 days of running, 2 days off. It's confusing instead of like 4 on, 3 off. I wouldn't be confused by it. It has to do with um, how many miles you're getting in a week. If you need a day off every third day, take it. You know, run day. Some people need a day off every other day. So every other day, build up your mileage. That way. 2 days on, 1 day off is a great way to do it. Next thing you know, you're running 4 days a week, maybe a fifth day, depending on how that works. There's so many ways to do it. There's no one way to get that done. If you Google Stu Smith running programs, you'll see a couple articles on how I program it. I'll do a goal pace running, I'll do a sprint day, I'll do a hill day, do a beach run day. So we change it up quite a bit. How we're running, uh, just to get used to the other types of running that you will probably see in your journey. But there's endless ways to do it. I've seen people run 6 days a week, right? We don't do that. We'll tend to run 2 days. Our third day, we do a mobility day. For guys that are shipping within a couple of months, I usually have them run a 4 mile timed run, then do a mobility day, just because I want them to start getting used to 5 days in a row, because you have weekends off at Buds. So you're going to be doing something 5 days a week versus 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 2 days off. So that I'll change it depending on that person's situation. But usually it's 2 days on. We'll do a mobility day, non impact cardio all day, biking, rowing, swimming, pool skills. That's very important. Stretching, mobility stuff, getting better streamlined body position. You saw a couple of those guys, plow in the water like this. We'll work on working that shoulder and elbow and making sure they can actually do a streamline and swim fast when they're gliding. And then the other 2 days are similar. Run the next 2 days, and then Saturday is usually a different situation. We will either pull back on some of the guys that are shipping soon and do a little long, slow distance day, just to work on some volume if they need it, or depending on where they are on their running progression, we'll just take that day off of running and do all the lifts and the cows, and maybe just walk with weight, do a ruck or things like that. So the reason why I give you so many options is there's no one way to do it. You really need to kind of find what works best for you. You may get some great ideas out there from other people who have great running programs out there, and personalize it for you. So that's my advice. If you want to go 4 on, 3 off, give it a shot. See if it works. If you're seeing progress with it, great. If you're seeing aches and pains and negative results, change it. I said in the past my 500 is 730s, but I'm conditioning now with 12 to 15 miles per week of swimming. Jesus. Moving to open water soon for distance as well. Well, 12 miles of swimming, that would be 24 to 30,000 meters of swimming or yards of swimming. I don't know what you're training for, but that's way too much time in the water, if you ask me. I don't think you need to spend, figure every 2,000 is 30 minutes roughly. So you're going to tell me you're spending 7.5 hours, 6 to 7.5 hours of swimming a week. That's a lot of swimming. I will say we do We do roughly 4.5, 5 a week. So, oh, that seems like a lot. No, wait a second. I think I missed your numbers significantly because 12 miles is 24,000 yards. Yeah, dude, that's a lot. That's 12 to 15 hours. My math was off. That's a lot of swimming. You don't need that much swimming. I did one of your bike pyramids on my trusty Aerodyne yesterday. Whoop my hind end. Yes, that is a good one for sure. I can squat my body weight and deadlift 1.5 body weight for 5 good clean reps. That's good. When should I start running my When I start running, my hamstrings get tired first half miles. Any suggestions on how to improve? Are my legs out of running shape? I mean, I don't know. It just depends. I mean, are you lifting then running? I mean, I probably wouldn't do that. Are your legs sore from lifting the day before then running? Probably you need to get in better shape so you're not sore, right? Or maybe work on your calisthenics, squats, toe touches, lunges. No weight at all. Just work on build up some volume so you have some muscle stamina on your legs. You know, I will tell you this: if you're trying to maintain your running while you get stronger, that's fine. If you're trying to get stronger and increase your running at the same time, usually neither work well together. You need to pick your poison. Which one are you wanting to focus on, and then have a secondary goal of maintenance. So if you want to get stronger, do your squats and deadlifts. You're probably not going to get faster during that time unless it's sprinting, less than 100 yards. But your goal pace running is not going to benefit at that time until you start doing more muscle stamina work and some endurance work on those legs and lungs. Thoughts on massage gun for recovery days? How many mobility days do you guys do a week? We'll do one in the middle of the week, and we have an optional second on Sunday. We don't do a workout on Sunday. Some guys will do an extra mobility day on the weekend. Yeah, we use massage guns. We use any type of vibrating tool. Really helpful, I think. Give it a shot. Foam rollers, massage tools, lacrosse balls. We'll do all of it. And stretch, of course. For Air Force candidates, what stroke do you have them train the most, especially for past in the pipeline? Also, advice. Great advice. I'm lifting 3 times a week, swimming 4 a week, and running 6 days. I think that's good. As long as you're like focused on maintaining one and improving the others, I think you can definitely improve your swim and run at the same time as lifting and doing calisthenics, as long as you're working to maintain your lifting, but improve your running and swimming. We do both. We'll probably 50% of the time we're doing freestyle. The other 50% we're doing CSS for Air Force guys too. All right, last question. Any chance you'll release a book for federal SWAT selections like FBI, HRT, BORTAC, Homeland Security? No. I mean, I've worked with a lot of FBI SWAT guys and even HRT guys, some BORTAC guys over the years, and they have done quite well. I do have a SWAT workout book. You can probably find it on Amazon. I don't sell it on my website. It's called the SWAT workout book. So there you go. But I would say most people who have been doing things like BORTAC, HRT have been doing the tactical fitness workout book. It's a really good program developed. I mean, it's developed for anybody. You can probably take out the swimming portions of it, but that's a good program for HRT selections and SWAT selections for sure. So remember, SWAT workout, tactical fitness book. Both of them are books you can find on Amazon. Let's see, smartwatches to help with monitoring heart rate splits. I don't have a smartwatch, so my watch is a. You guys see that? Just a basic $65 Ironman triathlon from Timex. If you like all that extra technology, use it. You know, I'm not knocking it. I just don't do it. I used to have a Whoop band, liked it for about a year, and I kind of understood where I was with my training, how it felt. You know, added some muscle memory to it, and you know, it was kind of nice to have around a little bit. But after a while, I kind of like, yeah, I got it. I know how many calories I'm burning when I do this workout. I know how many calories I'm burning if I go for an hour, right? And I know how much I need to rest afterwards. It will, I tell you what, it will help you with your recovery when you're first doing it, the Whoop bands, because it's just forcing you to like, time to go to sleep. I would say, my sleep ritual was probably started because of that Whoop band. Just reminding me I needed to chill a little bit. So Joey says he swims 2 miles an hour. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, mile every 30 minutes. Oh, so yeah, so my brain's fried. Been busy all morning. Didn't eat breakfast. Um, yeah, 6, 7 hours. That's still a lot. I don't think it's necessary to be that much, especially if you're already swimming a 7:30. You're great at swimming. Get good at something else. You know, how to get better at scissor kicks? Well, two ways. One is practice scissor kicks with fins. All right, that's going to be working those scissor kick muscles better than without fins. Then, jumping lunges. If you really want a powerful movement to help you get a little more power out of your kick, jumping lunge, and you go into a lunge position, jump, and put your feet together. That's how you land. So scissor kicks, jumping lunges with a scissor kick. You're not like jumping to the next lunge. You're jumping, landing on your feet. Going to a lunge, jumping, landing on your feet. You can also do B steps. If you Google the term B step dynamic stretch, that's a really good way to work some speed into your scissor kick as well. Because it depends on how quickly you can grab water and close your legs to create power. Yeah, you can get G Shocks too. Yeah, those are great for me. I love G Shocks, Ironman triathlons. They work fine for me. Let's see, what is this? Unfortunately, there are still influencers trying to talk people out of going officer. What would you say counterpoints are? Goes without saying, I'm interested in serving as SOF officer. Um, Look, man, I'm a coach. I'm not an influencer. So first of all, the term influencer and SEAL looks funny to me. Um, I've been a coach for long before there was social media, and I'm still a coach. I just happen to coach differently because I have StreamYard and I can go live on my social media platforms and coach more people. I'm a coach. As far as officer enlisted, they're two different jobs. Yes. They go through the same training. Yes. One is responsible and is accountable for the daily activities and the schedule. The other one is responsible largely for himself. And as they progress into the years of experience, they are more responsible for others in the unit and the more tactical decisions that occur every day, whether that's operations or training. um, my advice is this: if you're on the fence of officer and enlisted, enlist first with your degree, and then you can go to OCS a couple of years after and have 4 or 5 years of enlisted experience under your belt before you go officer. And you can determine that yourself what you want to do. You can see what your officers do. You can learn from your officers, good ones and bad. I don't want to be like that guy when I'm an officer. I really want to emulate that guy when I'm an officer. You're going to see both sides. So you can learn from good and bad officers, chiefs, teammates as well. So if you're truly on the fence, you need to understand that you're going to be responsible for what happens each day, getting things done up the chain of command. You're going to be addressing people. Hopefully, you're kind of like the screen, like everybody up here above you, and here's you, and then you keep all of that away from your guys so you can get whatever task you need to get done that day or ever, throughout your time working with that unit done. Now, obviously, there's an up and down the chain of command. You got to support it, do what you can. But your job is to really, on a micro level, take care of your people, period. If that appeals to you, then you should go officer. If it does not, enlist, period. And if you feel like you want to go officer later, go officer later. You can. So I don't have a problem with people wanting to go officer, wanting to be enlisted with college degrees. I think it's great. My only problem is if you're 17 years old thinking you're ready for buds, 9 times out of 10, you are not. So if I have any hard line, is a teenager going to buds. I'm proven wrong every class, and I'm glad I am, but you didn't see the people who started when that class was 150 strong. You didn't see how many teenagers were there not lasting a week in first phase. That is a bulk of the attrition rate, just ill-prepared teenagers. Period. So go officer, go enlisted. Don't be in a rush to join at 18 years old. Let's try finish growing first, not only physically, but emotionally and maturity wise. You might be a better candidate. Guys like Brendan Looney, for example, serve as a constant inspiration to become a leader. I would agree. I think he's a great guy. He's a great athlete here at the Naval Academy and great person. And, he's definitely inspiring. Thoughts on training primarily chest to bar pull-ups rather than standard chin-ups over the bar? Increased difficulty, range of motion. I don't think it needs to be primarily, but you should definitely mix in some. I like to mix in multiple grips. I'll go wide, bring it in close, go reverse grip, even do commando grip, we call it. But by all means, yeah, take it all the way down. See how you like it. Yeah, Ironman Timex all day. 6 years, some batteries. Yeah, I enjoyed mine. I remember these in the 80s, and they brought them back. So it's kind of retro for me. I love it. I know officers who are friends in military, and they're all different. I've known them before they joined. It's different getting advice from two different people with different experiences on ideals. Well, that's the beauty of things. You get advice from as many people as you can. And from there, you make your determination what fits you. Neither one is wrong, right? you need to figure out what's right for you. How much hit is too much? Every day, I think is too much. A couple days a week, I think is fine. 30 minutes is plenty. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do it every day. Have you met the Naval Academy woman that starts buds next month? What did she do to prepare? Yes, I know her very well. She doesn't start next month, by the way. She will start next year. So she has one of the later classes. She's not, she graduates next month, but she is going to be TAD training here at the Naval Academy. She has a job over the summer at the academy, and then will be involved with some other things that happen here at the Naval Academy for temporary assigned duty. Like, put it this way, there are officers right now that graduated last May that are just leaving for buds this month, and they just got there. So they don't send all the academy officers, which is like 30, 35 sometimes, all at once. They'll break them up in groups of 5 spread throughout the year. So she's in one of the later classes. 2 sessions of Tabatas, in other words. I mean, like have a hit day, but I wouldn't have a hit week, right? Get some. I mean, it just depends on your goal. If you just want to be a hit guru, do it. I don't think you need it every day. You need some endurance days. You need some, lower intensity days, heavier weight, maybe less reps. So, bought the Air Force Spec Ops book. On average, how long do you think it would take to come in? I sent you an email with the ebook attached to it. So if you read that email, it says 7 to 10 days. And you can start today if you open that email and download the ebook that I send with it. How do you decide how much someone should increase their reps? At the start of a new week, should I test myself to see what my reps are for the week? No, they just happen. Some days are better than others. And, you know, you might have 10 listed into the workout for that exercise. And you might find that the weight is too much or not enough, and you could do 12 to 15. So you have a choice. You can either go 12 to 15 with your reps and increase, or you can add weight and keep it at 10. Both are progressions. Same for calisthenics. You can either add weight to your calisthenics and keep the reps the same, or you can go higher rep. It's funny, these workouts, especially like the pyramid workout or the superset workout, even the max rep set workout, each one of those are assessments of you and what you can do that day. It may not happen next week at the same rate, but you can see improvements, or you can see negative results, and usually that's tied into your recovery, and you didn't sleep well, didn't eat well, didn't hydrate, and you're not going to perform well. Sometimes that is the answer. You just need to eat better and recover better. So, um, does that make sense to you? Right? How many rucks do you program a week whilst aiming to progress running alongside maintaining lifting week whilst minimizing fatigue? Um, we usually ruck on leg days. So we will top off a leg day with a ruck. So typically, the most we will ever ruck is twice a week. Every now and then, we'll do a special like Spec Ops triathlon, and we'll we'll add in a ruck on a cardio only day. So those aren't very common. Maybe once every 2 months, 3 months, we'll do a spec ops triathlon. So most of the weeks we are rucking twice a week if you're going Army or Marine Corps. If you're going Navy, I tend to have those guys swimming with fins on leg days. All right, Stu, so I've been using AI to give me tips and advice alongside training, and I won't lie, I got very helpful feedback. Yeah, AI is a tool. Just like I use a wrench to undo a screw, you can get some good information from AI. But here's the problem: sometimes they make shit up, right? I have tried it a couple of times in some articles, finding some research, and they actually made up research studies. I've heard lawyers doing it as well, and they made up court cases that they were uh, referencing, just made up stories, right? Maybe they were fictitious stories, but I wouldn't get too beat up on it because sometimes it's garbage in, garbage out, and if you don't realize you're picking up some fiction in what you're receiving, you could go down a wrong road. So I'm not fully sold on using it solely for training advice, nutrition advice, even. But you can find some good things that are helpful, but I would just always kind of verify it. The old trust but verify idea. I mean, like I use it for ask how many grams of protein and calories in food. I mean, that's not an AI thing. I mean, you could figure that out using Google. I mean, mm. So yeah, there's a lot of opinions out there, but you know, the good news is you're doing research. You're actually seeking out answers. Keep doing that. Whether it is somebody's opinion on one thing and somebody else's opinion on that same thing, two different answers. They're not wrong answers. They're just people's opinions. You need to decipher what's going to work for you, whether it's AI or your fitness influencer of the week giving you fitness advice. Let's see. A couple more questions here, and I got to go. How many tempo speed workouts, LSD runs a week would you recommend doing? I have a running program. If you just Google the running program to get you to and through selection, you'll see. Yeah, I usually do one speed workout, a couple of goal pace runnings, so tempo type pace runnings, and I, I will put in a LSD, but it's usually a mix of non-impact cardio and running versus just running long, slow distance. I personally am under the I don't think you need LSD runs unless you lack an aerobic base. I've been doing cardio for 40 years and I think my aerobic base is pretty good. I can always work on my speed and my pace more than my base. If somebody said, "Hey, you got to go run 20 miles," I'm like, "Okay, I'll go run 20 miles." You know, my knees probably won't be happy with it, but I know it could do it. I've been prepping for SFAS RASP. I found your page about 3 months ago. Push up, sit ups gone up over 60, 70. Runs roughly 645, 715 per mile. And where are you? I've been doing some swimming as well. Do you have any workouts that I could do to add and improve? Um, yeah, did you not see the Army SF Special Ops workout? Go to StuSmithFitness.com and you will see right on that main page a Army specific workout to get to and through both of those selections. Let's see here. Hey, Stu, I've been get a medical waiver for shoulder surgery. Is it possible the Navy pulls my contract at boot camp? I've heard stories of guys losing contracts at boot camp because of waivers. Yeah, usually that is not an issue with shoulder surgery. Shoulder surgeries have gotten a lot better now. But things like depth perception or color blindness can get people to lose contracts. Stu, should I swim the day before the PST? Yeah, sure. I mean, we do normal workouts the day of the PST, but if it's your first one and you're trying to crush it, swim a little bit, do some mobility work. Don't take a day off. I don't think you need a day off. Just go light and don't waste a workout day taking a PST. Now, unless it's your first one and you're worried about passing it for the first time, take it easy that day and go crush it. But I mean, once you start taking these things and you take them every month, our guys will just do a normal workout and then go take their PST and still do fine on it. But you got to be at a high PST level to be able to do that. Trying to prove my 500, I get 50 seconds on my first few yards, and then I drop to 52, 53. I'm swimming 3 or 4 times a week. I think you're just not in swimming shape yet. So keep doing the 50-50 swim workout. If you haven't heard of the 50-50 swim workout, you should Google it. 50-50 swim workout, Stu Smith. Google that workout. Do it the 3 or 4 times a week that you go swimming, and watch your conditioning go. And rest very little. Don't take a minute rest in between sets. A couple of breaths and then go again. You ever had a candidate who was really bad shape that worked hard and ended up becoming a SEAL and other SOF and motivated other people? Absolutely. Had guys lose 80 pounds, become Army Rangers. Had guys, not be able to swim across the swimming pool, became a Navy SEAL. Got all types. But let me say this. It took them 18 months to 2 years to truly prepare. So you can prepare for it. You just got to put in the time, make sure you're really prepared for it. Unfortunately, the reason why so many people quit is they just go join the Navy and they say, oh, this SEAL thing's cool. Oh, I got to pass a fitness test? Well, let me try to pass this fitness test. They spend all summer trying to pass a fitness test. They get a contract, then they ship out. They've done nothing to prepare for actual buds itself. That is the journey of the teenage brain going through buds. Typical teenage brain. Seen it for decades. So I know I digressed on your question, but yes, really bad shape people can get in really good shape. Just takes time. All right, boys. Looks like I am done. Been over an hour today, so I appreciate you sticking around. And Ryan confirms what I just said. It's really like that. I met them at MEPS. They're all 18 years old. Yep, it happens. All right, guys, I got to go. Appreciate your time. Go check out StuSmithFitness.com. Tons of articles over there. You can Google the question, put my name in it. I've probably written an article about it. Got a program about it. Running programs, swimming programs. They're just different because they are specifically designed for a goal. So SF goal, Air Force goal, Navy, Marine Corps, police, SWAT team, they're all over there. I also have some tactical fitness training programs that get you good at everything. So really, whatever goal you have, you can be better prepared for it. That's what I do. And if I missed any of your questions, I apologize. You can send me those questions, stu@stewsmith.com, and I will answer them personally. You guys go to Stu Smith Fitness, use the live15 coupon code, and you save yourself 15% if you want to get anything. All right, guys, I got to go. I will see you next week. Have a good one.